Hello, welcome back. Let's rock this. All we're gonna simply do is talk about meal plans, how to ultimately build your own to make you successful. Now, I've been hit up many times over the years, but especially of late with just, Joseph, I need a meal plan. I need something, just tell me what to eat, 4 ounces of this, I can follow this. It actually helps me, I stay on track, just give me what to do and let me follow it. And I always say no. And the reason being is that it works really well. A meal plan works great if you're able to follow it. But then what happens when you're not? Or what happens once you reach a place where you don't want to? And that's why meal plans are ultimately really complex. Complex in the sense that once you're a week in, 2 weeks in, or maybe even a little bit longer, you reach this point where you don't feel like you have control. You don't feel like you have autonomy. And as the humans that we are, when we feel like our control is taken away from us, at some point we're gonna throw a temper tantrum. Especially when it's like, you don't even get to tell me what to eat. I get to decide what I put in my mouth. I know how to make healthy choices. Screw this, I'm done. And I think oftentimes we'll ask for a meal plan unconsciously to make it complex so that when we do not succeed, when we do fall off, when we do fail with a meal plan, we can say it was just too hard to follow and no one's gonna bat an eye. No one's gonna judge. You know, I was doing really well, but it's just so much prep, it's so much time, it's so much commitment, and it's just not for me. I wasn't enjoying the food, there wasn't enough variety. Boom, easy out and no one's gonna judge. And so that's why we make things complex as humans, is to give us that out and not feel that sense of ownership and responsibility. So I'm gonna take that away from you. I'm gonna take it away from me. It's what I do to help us together become successful, and we're gonna build your own meal plan so that you don't have to ever do that again. So you can continue to be successful. So that's what we're doing today, is building your own meal plan. So before we get into what you're going to be doing, how you're going to be eating, we need to make this little thing called a list. I don't know about you, but I like lists. They let me check things off. That's always good. That's why we got this box, once we can check it off. So the first thing that I need you to do is actually write out what are the different things that you eat for breakfast, right? Now, if you don't eat breakfast, that's absolutely fine. I don't have any problems with that. If you're not someone that eats until 11 a.m., 12 p.m., 2, that is absolutely fine. We may have to finagle some other macronutrients in there to make sure you're getting enough of the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that you need in your system to thoroughly flourish. But that's for another conversation. So what I want you to simply do is, on this list, I want you to write out all of the different breakfast options that you consistently eat, right? Then from there, we're gonna do the same thing with snacks, if you do eat snacks. Now you may have one snack a day, sometimes a snack a day. You may have snack mid-morning, snack in the afternoon, right? So these are the different things we're going for, and we're gonna make a list of what are those things that you consistently reach for. You're always going for, you know you always want them, right? And what those things are. And then of course, lunch, same dealio, and dinner, okay? Now here is why we're doing this, and here's what I have found. Over the course of coaching people for almost 10 years, humans, all of us, love to find what we like and stick with it. We don't really like as much variety as we think we do. What I have found is when it comes to dinner, people are like, I love variety, I just want to have a ton of different options, right? And that's why they say it's too complex and they won't stick with things. Oftentimes it's that, yeah, you do enjoy pizza, but you may enjoy it from a different place every single week, but it's still pizza. So we're usually still having stuff that is within the same realm overall on a consistent basis. And so here's what you're gonna find, right? The majority of people, 95% of people are gonna find, because we are habitual creatures, is that we have usually the same 1 to 2 main breakfast items. You're probably thinking, yeah, I have this for breakfast when I'm rushing off to work, and I have this for breakfast when I've got a little bit more time, right? You're gonna find that you have the same probably 2 to 3 snacks every single day. Yeah, you're right, I probably just have this and I have this, right? I have pretzels and hummus this day, and I have some beef jerky this day, and the other day I just sometimes just grab a Frappuccino from Starbucks. And then you're gonna find that you have the same 3 to 4 lunch items. And the reason I'm saying 3 to 4 is you probably eat the same things during the week fairly consistently, and then on the weekends you have a little bit more variety, right? And then dinner tends to be the same 5 to 6 options that are repeated pretty closely, okay? From this list, once we've done this, boop, give all our little things here, then we're gonna go through and we're going to actually make them fit the goals that we have for ourselves. And this is where it gets fun. So we want to try, from an overall health standpoint, to help us maintain a steady weight loss and then a steady physique composition that we are looking for. we want to try and maintain a certain level of calories that is in a deficit originally until we reach that goal. And we also want to maintain a higher level of protein, a decent amount of vegetables for fiber, some fruit in there for a little bit of variety, right? And then some complex carbs and some healthy fats to balance us out. And that's where this phrase matters the most. Calories are king, protein is queen, carbs and fats are adjustable in between. Simply meaning calories are going to determine overall how big or how small we are. It is the amount of energy we are putting in our system, whether that energy is coming from Twinkies, whether that energy is coming from lean chicken breast, it is still energy that is going in our system. Yes, there will be some compositional changes based on what you're eating, but ultimately, right, if you are starving, you will continue to lose weight because your body has no choice, right? And if you're eating in an overconsumption, a surplus, no matter what it is, you are going to gain weight. And so when we look at it, then we're going to say protein is queen. That's the one that we want to keep a little bit on the higher side. And then the other ones we can adjust, whether you like those or not. So from these different items, now we're going to make some tweaks. So let's, for instance, look at breakfast. What you've had, can we make it a little bit healthier? That's what we're looking to do. And when I say healthier, I mean healthier in the sense that it's going to help us reach our goals. Not that what you were eating wasn't healthy, or that certain foods are good or certain foods are bad. Remove those labels. It's just food. It's just calories. It's just fuel, right? And so what we're trying to do here is make a version that helps us sustain that. So now we're going to create our, what I'm going to call, better version. So I'm just going to do it up. So a better version of these things. And we're going to then put them on repeat. So if you find that you're having a bowl of cereal every single morning, and you're like, I don't want to let go of cereal. It's what I really like. Well, then we've got an options. So let's say breakfast, right? You have cereal. And when we look at it, you're probably getting about 50 grams of carbs, maybe about 4 or 5 grams of fat from the milk, and then you're only getting about 5-6 grams of protein. Well, if we can make that to be slightly more in favor from our macronutrient standpoint, we could go with a brand called Magic Spoon cereal. Now we're getting 12 grams of protein from it, minimal carbs in that regard, and home 2 or 3 grams of fat. And it's less calories overall. And then instead of pouring milk over it, right, traditional milk, maybe we go with almond milk. So we're getting up to 30 grams of calcium every single day. Amazing. And only 30 calories for a cup. Or maybe you go with something like Greek yogurt. We put it on there. Now we bumped up for a cup, another 24 grams of protein, 120 calories total. And we just took that breakfast that we liked of cereal that was already coming in at 330 calories to, again, 300 calories. We're in a deficit. And we just totally changed the composition of what it was. So now we've got a lot more protein, which is thermogenic, going to be burning. Our body's going to be better. And we're going to be feeling good. Now you could find that you're like, yeah, I like, avocado toast. Sweet. Well, could we go with a higher fiber, lower calorie dense bread? So we're just looking to make these switches. And could I add an egg on top of it and do a quarter of the avocado instead of the whole thing? I'm still getting the flavors, but I'm bumping up the protein. And so now it's just like, can I make swaps more than anything else? Or could, if I already like eggs, instead of doing 3 whole eggs, could I do 1 egg, right? 2 egg whites. The yolk is fine. It totally is. It's just that we are looking to decrease our overall calories. And one of the best ways, the fastest ways, the easiest ways to do that is from fat while still keeping the protein high. The yolk is what has the fat. That's what has 6 grams of fat. Whereas the egg white, that's where you're getting that 7 grams of protein. We want to keep that aspect. But now we've got a meal where we just knocked off right around 120 calories just by switching to 2 egg whites. That's quite a bit different there, right? And so we're going to come up with that. So if you already know that 9 times out of 10 you're going to be fine with those first 2 meals that you just created for yourself, you're going to stick with it. And then we're just going to get the right portions, which is the main key piece. So now we've created breakfast. You've got your 2 different things there, right? You could just have Greek yogurt and berries. You could have a protein bar if you really needed that quick grab on the go. Could be a protein shake. It could be eggs of any sort, even hard-boiled, right? There are plenty of options, maybe cottage cheese, right? You're figuring out what you like, trying to make sure that it is in a calorie deficit and that you can sustain it yourself. You can go to websites like skinnytaste.com, have tons of recipes. You could do an egg bake and have this so that it's ready to go for the entire week. But this is what we are looking for, so it's quick, grab, easy. Now we're going to come up with 2 to 3 snacks. 2 to 3 snacks. This is where a lot of people get into trouble and tend to find themselves overeating. This is where I would look and say, all right, could it be baby carrots and hummus? Could I throw in some beef jerky? Could I have that Greek yogurt in the afternoon there? Could I do that protein shake there to satiate me, to fill me up a little bit longer? I'm looking for ways to try and keep the protein high because that's going to satiate me, keep my body processing, and keep me from leaning into other things, right? And then you're going to do the same thing for lunch. Take what you already like to eat. You're like, well, I go and I make a sandwich every single time. All right, cool. Well, then let's look at this. Could I do open face? So I'm only doing one piece of bread and do a side salad. Could I turn it into a bowl? Could what the ingredients that I already like, could I make it into a bowl instead of making it into a higher calorie version? Could I remove some items or swap some items? Could I ditch the mayo and be fine? I make a tuna sandwich. I do it open face on one slice of bread, entire can of tuna, but instead of using mayo, I use a scoop of Greek yogurt, throw some hot sauce in there, mix that all in with my tuna, place it on there, and for me, it tastes even better, right? I'm not missing the extra bread, and all of a sudden you realize, wow, I just knocked off right around 350 calories off this entire lunch so that it can be a little bit leaner, so that I have more flexibility, and it's what I already like to eat, a wonderful, delicious tuna sandwich. Life is good. These are the things that I want you to do. Take the food that you're already making and make it a little bit more. So let's run through some other different ways, right? You can also do it, turn it into a salad, which works really well. But looking through dinner, could you take, if you're looking at it, you're like, yeah, we pretty much have pasta every single Monday. Great. Could you chop up a bunch of zucchini, or if you need to, buy the pre-frozen spoodles of either carrots or zucchini, mix that in with it, and go half the pasta and half, because carbs are still great. We need them in our system. They fuel us with energy for better workouts. Or if I'm over getting carbs in another area where I then need to keep my calories down, could I just do a swap? Could I do a lower sugar marinara sauce that is putting in there, right? Could I use turkey instead of beef? Or if I'm choosing beef, could I go with 96% lean and only 4% fat? These are the small little things that make the hugest difference in the spectrum. You can still have your pasta every night, right? We've even done a no pasta. A lot of garbanzo beans, ton of zucchini chopped up, some mushrooms, ton of other vegetables, marinara sauce, lean ground turkey, 99% lean, all mixed up, side salad with a low-cal dressing, or make your own so you're not overly doing the olive oil on there, and your calories have drastically increased or decreased. And I'm talking a difference between a cup of pasta being 400 calories down to a cup being 60, right? It's a big, big difference here when you're doing a cup of zucchini versus you're doing a cup of pasta noodles. And you're gonna get the crunch, you're gonna get the flavor, you're gonna get all of these elements. So then Tuesday comes Taco Tuesday. Great, could you do one tortilla or even a Carb Smart tortilla? Or could you do lettuce wraps so that it's open? Could you do Greek yogurt instead of some of the sour cream that is going on top? Could you do the seasoning with a leaner beef, ground beef, or a leaner meat that is going on there, right? Could you do less of the avocado? And the saving grace, do you really need as much cheese as you do? A lot of times we think salt, pepper, cheese. Those are the 3 toppings that go on everything. That's how we season things. No, we need to be careful with that. We need to bring some awareness to just how much we are doing and ask yourself, would I miss this? Would I miss this once this is gone? Could I swap or could I do less and still feel satisfied and satiated? Because in between the diet, there's this thing called living. But ultimately, we want to create a meal plan where now we've got Monday, our pasta night, and we've drastically decreased calories. We've already solved some solutions here with these other meals. Taco Tuesday is there. Wednesday, now we're just going to switch out and we're going to go with a stir fry. So we're already in good direction there because we've got a ton of veggies, a little bit of rice, which is great for us, and then the meat of your choice, or even a tofu if you're going meatless, right? These are great ways to take what you already like and just make it a little bit leaner, a little bit better, so that you can achieve those goals. And it's not that one is healthier than the other, it's just that it's healthier mentally and emotionally for you to be able to then make that progress towards where you're at. Now, I personally am going to have that one reset meal, and that's going to be a legit true pizza, or it's going to be a legit true burger, right? There's going to be some sense of joy that is coming from satiating myself with something that's a little bit decadent, over the top, definitely going to be loaded with fat, definitely going to be loaded with carbs, and it's going to be okay. You can take it a little further and do the cauliflower crust pizza, right? Or, to get a little no diggity, no doubt, you can get with this or you can get with that. You can have the carbs or you can have the fat. You can adjust, for instance, if you're going to a place, have the burger but don't have the fries. The fries are loaded with some pretty decent amount of fat. You could ditch the bun, get it lettuce wrapped, and have some of the fries. And portion it out. And just know that now we are making a fair exchange. We are living within parameters. We are giving ourselves guidelines, but we aren't feeling restricted, reprieved. We are able to then continue on and live in between all of this. Now, based on the goal, you may have to have more parameters than not. I don't know your specific situation, but this is what I want you to do to create a meal plan. And what you're going to find is you're going to come up with 1 to 2 breakfast items that work for this, and then check the calories on it. See where it comes out, right? If for most of us, we're coming in right around 350 calories or less, usually we're off to a good start. Our snacks, right around 200 calories, usually we're off to a really good start. Our lunch, right around 500 to maybe 600, unless you prefer that to be your bigger meal, usually pretty good. And then our remaining, usually 600, are gonna come from dinner. So for most people, now with that level of consistency, and you're probably doing the math on there, you're like, yeah, but Joseph, 600, right, plus 500, we're at 1100, plus 200, then we're at 13, then we're at 15, 1700, it's not enough for me to lose weight. Or you're going even more on some of these, you're like, Joseph, I could be at 2,000 calories. What I've found is most people, if you take your weight, your goal weight, multiply it by 12, you should be able to lose weight based on that. Not always the case, a lot of parameters, a lot of factors, right? But in essence, it's usually the lack of consistency. Maybe it is that you're 1,500 calories Monday through Friday, and then 3,500 on Saturday, 3,500 on Sunday, if not more. If not more. And if we're really honest with ourselves, the little bites that are happening in between, the extra of this on top, the sauce, the dip, the this, the that, the extra calories that we're drinking, so many extra calories that we're drinking that aren't sneaking in here, the cream that's going in your coffee, there's nothing wrong with these things. We just want to bring awareness to it, shine some light on it, make the adjustments that we can so that if we are in a deficit overall, say we do get to that 1,700, or even for you, you find you're at like 1,300, but then you have those 3,000 calorie days, we're going to create that balance, but you're still going to be in a deficit, right? And we want to create just enough here so that we can repeat this as consistently as possible week after week and never really get bored. Now, eventually you might, and that's where, great, introduce another item. Introduce another breakfast item. Introduce 1 or 2 more dinner meals. But you'll probably find that eventually, once you have built this out, your meal plan, customized to what you like, you're just taking swaps, then you're only gonna have about 5 total breakfast items, about 6 lunch items, and maybe about 15 dinner items. And that's after you've repeated this. And then if you do that every single month, repeated, it's almost like you're eating something new every single time. So you're slowly building your Rolodex. Hope this helps. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up. And that's all I got for you. Coach Joseph, I'm out.